Shri Jayant Sinha, Honorable Minister of State for Civil Aviation, Mr. Bhave, former Chairman SEBI, Mr. Mohan Das Pai, co-founder and Chairman Aaron Capital, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the National Stock Exchange, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you for the first NSE Tech Conclave 2017. It is our pleasure to host this event in Bengaluru, the technology and startup capital of India. The city has nurtured many innovators and entrepreneurs and is home to over 2,000 active startups. These companies are not just growing at breakneck speeds, but are also redefining how products and services are consumed in the country. We believe that Indian startups have the ability to scale into large organizations and compete internationally. Going forward, I see enormous growth potential in startups driven by favorable government policies. The Startup India initiative will create a conducive environment for bright, resourceful individuals to become successful entrepreneurs. As the torchbearers of Indian capital markets, we are taking government's initiatives forward with this event. The startup ecosystem has matured in the last 5 years, and growth is being financed mostly by venture capitalists and private equity funds. Public markets are being considered for exits, but very few have actually taken this path. Through this event, we want to highlight that Indian markets can be a good platform to support new age companies for their growth capital. As one of the largest exchanges, we are committed to supporting innovation by providing a robust fundraising ecosystem. Stock exchanges can not only address startup funding requirements across phases, but also enable more mature companies to unlock value and scale their businesses. When I look at this audience, I see a lot of enthusiastic young Indians and entrepreneurs. I'm sure you would agree that many of these young entrepreneurs could be heads of the next lot of nifty companies. Everyone has witnessed the phenomenal progress made by the technology startup ecosystem in the last decade. We all saw the rise of unicorns and the growth of several startups with total market valuation of over $40 billion. Their growth charts and numbers are exciting for Indian investors as well. These investors have been largely isolated from the wealth creation opportunities that startups provide. The investment opportunities are currently available largely to foreign investors. And our hope is that with this conclave and many such events, many of the Indian entrepreneurs would look at listing in India and providing the Indian investor an opportunity to invest in growth stories. The Indian economy is growing, and while investors have always been interested in startups, the positive sentiment is an added advantage for Indian investors to participate in such investment opportunities. I hope the startup ecosystem will view Indian capital markets as an important funding source. There are approximately 1,400 VCP institutionally backed companies in India, and funds have invested in most of these companies over the last 5 to 7 years. The companies have a growth story to tell, and their investors too are actively considering exits. A large section of such companies are choosing to be acquired or merging with similar businesses. However, the companies can also access a wider market through a public float. This will help them chart the next phase of their growth story. NSE is committed to enabling these companies evaluate public market platforms. We will also provide the right tools to prepare these companies for their life as listed entities. I'm also happy to report that this year has been an exceptional year for the primary markets. Companies have raised over 67,000 crores. Of this, almost 70% or 45,000 crores were in the form of exits by private equity funds. We also saw an interesting mix of new age sectors and niche companies accessing public markets, such as e-commerce, food technology, energy exchanges, and security services. Investors have been very receptive, as most of the issues were massively oversubscribed. I also know that the decision to list is not an easy one. There are many reasons why startups may be wary of public markets. Life as a listed company brings with it compliance, public scrutiny, pressure of delivering results on a quarterly basis, etc. But there are also several advantages of being a listed company, and I hope that this conclave will discuss some of these issues. The NSE Tech Conclave is the beginning of a new relationship between the capital markets and the startup ecosystem. We are committed to developing the right ecosystem to enable emerging companies to list in India. We have done this successfully for the SME landscape through our dedicated platform, NSE Emerge, where we recently listed our 100th IPO. And we hope to see many more emerging technology companies list in India. I hope that you benefit from this forum, and thank you once again for coming.